Welcome back to Everything All the Time. I'm Pat O'Brien. He's Court McCowan. We've had a good show today. This is segment
Don't.
4.
Oh, there you go.
See, when your hands are little,
Don't.
mine
just let it
aren't.
go,
Mine
let
are
it go.
not little.
Let it go. Let it go.
But if you put them close to the camera,
Let it go.
like Bradley does.
Okay.
Anyway, I want to wrap up the show talking about Trump. This is day 2 of the Trump convention. And we were talking about how
It's
everybody...
actually the Republican National Convention, but we're calling it the Trump Convention.
Well, I don't think Trump's going to call it the Trump convention after yesterday. But I felt bad for Melania, who I know. And I know Don. But I know Melania, and she's really such a sweetheart. And to come out and say, well, she was the one who wrote the speech, and when it was clear she didn't. And then it was clear that it was lifted almost, well, literally from Michelle Obama's speech in 2008. Is this distracting to you?
Not
This
at all.
phone going on? I feel bad for her. But it should have been caught. It should have been apologized for. They could move on. If they would have moved on last night, all the morning shows would have had them moving on. Think this person would give up?
Yeah.
All the morning shows would have moved on, and they could get into Law and Order, which is what today is going to be. But now they're going to drag her through. Can you imagine the conversation at home?
The whole thing, too, is it comes down to they're not going to fire the guy who wrote the guys and girls that wrote the speech, because they wrote it for her. It's obvious.
They lifted it.
They lifted it. And, to come out and just they made a mistake. They made a mistake. Okay, you made a mistake.
God,
But,
what a
Chris
presidential.
Christie is, just a dumb comment. His comment today was, when he was asked by NBC this morning, his comment was, and I quote, not, could Melania Trump apparently be prosecuted for something like this? And he says, well, not when 93% of the speech is completely different than Michelle Obama's.
It's the 7%
It's
that
the
we're talking about.
7% that's like you lifted this stuff, and you lifted something that is supposed to be coming from your inspiration. Michelle Obama, love her or not, is a great first lady, and she
probably wrote that speech.
And and she came out, and she spoke with passion, and it was at a time, this was it was going to be our first black president. She's out there, she's speaking, and she's really coming from the heart, and she's talking about bringing people together. And now Melania is using the exact same words to try to bring people together, when it's like her husband, the one that's dividing them.
And they're all saying, their normal thoughts. Yeah. I have normal thoughts, but when people repeat them, I'm saying, hey, I just said that.
There's just so much that's gone
And
wrong.
we're not blaming Melania.
No,
We really are not.
and it's this kind of thing where the whole thing starts out with Trump coming out to "We Are the Champions," which Queen
By the way, Queen now said,
they told him before not to use it.
Freddie Mercury is rolling over.
Yeah, and they asked him before not to use it, and he did it again. And it's just one of these things where it's this blatant arrogance. And, they started out with trying to have a roll call, and they shot that down, the anti-Trump supporters.
Then they had this poor woman whose son was killed.
in Benghazi.
In Benghazi.
And they just manipulated her.
And she was... I'm sorry her son is dead, but she was a little over the top for a political convention. But during her speech, Trump called Fox News and gave an interview over her speech.
100%. It's not about... None of this is about making America great again. It's making Donald Trump the president. He wants to be the president. And he's,
Well, so do I. But
Well,
I'm not running.
I really don't.
By the way, I did think the David Copperfield Trump arrival was pretty cool.
I thought it was.
And all the shit he's giving people about teleprompters, but that was the first thing you saw.
Yeah.
But I thought, come on, you got to say that was...
There's nobody... Look, I understand that there's problems in this country. They're all over the place. The guy that,
Really?
the cop that came out there from Milwaukee, who you sent me one of the greatest interviews
David
with.
Clark. That guy is the angriest...
Angriest man. And he came out, he's blue lives matter. Yes, they matter, but there are some issues out there, and it's just...
He acted like... I sent Court... Your name is Court, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to call you Mr. McCowan?
Never.
No, okay.
Never.
I sent Court an interview, which many of you may have seen, with Don Lemon, and this guy, this maniac, David Clark, is sheriff of some county in Wisconsin.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Yeah. Big job. Guess he couldn't make the LAPD. But he just ripped into Don. And Don just sat there and said, "That's not what I asked you." And he said, "Well, do you really believe any of this stuff? Where are the protests?" No, he wanted to make...
well, he started it out when Don Lemon asked him a question. He started
so
it out.
uncomfortable.
He just goes, "Do you really believe that?" You know,
Oh,
it was
poor
just.
Don.
I thought he was going to take his gun out and put it at Don Lemon's head and say, "Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth."
They should have played "I Shot the Sheriff" behind that one.
Oh,
No, I didn't mean that. It was
Yeah.
a joke.
that.
But
The whole convention is this. It's
anyway, so what you do when you make a mistake? Take it from me. The Pat O'Brien 3 A's. Apologize. No, admit, apologize, and advance. And if they would have done that this morning, look, we saw Michelle's speech. We like what she said. Somehow, did we copy it? Probably it got in, but it was the same feelings.
Yeah.
And we apologize if we pissed anybody off. And let's move on to day 2 of the convention. I'll guarantee you, day 2 of this convention is completely screwed up.
yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And it's not the media. The media is not. They're doing it to themselves now.
They're doing it to themselves. They've got, it's one of those things where it's like the greatest thing you can ever do in your life if you make a mistake is admit you're wrong.
I
and
just
say,
said that.
I know, and I'd say you're sorry.
It's plagiarizing.
Yes, it is. And but see, I use different words though. Same feeling. Almost a spit take. But and the thing is would you rather be right or be happy? And it's like they want to be right, and they're not right, and so they're not going to ever be happy.
I feel really badly for Melania because I really do like
I
her.
do
and
too.
think
I mean, she's a
great.
nice lady.
By the way, nothing about her husband in that speech. Like, what's he like around Barron or the kids or nothing about him.
No, and they're well. It's just she was just talking about what it's like to be around Barack, and what a nice guy he is, and how they have values
Yeah, 'cause
about
it was Michelle's.
raising their children. You just said Melania is
I wonder who blew the whistle on that.
who blew the whistle on the speech.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those things where shortly after the speech, they literally, because you've got
Well, Twitter went crazy.
Twitter went crazy, but also you
I'm
have
sure that
people
Hillary and I'm sure the Obama administration went, huh?
Well, you got to remember too. You've got people covering these conventions, these political analysts, and these people
Right.
who, they live this daily.
They didn't point it out last night.
A lot of them did. A lot of them
After the speech?
Oh yeah, a lot of them were bringing it up, and they were talking. Right after.
Really?
There was a lot of people talking about it. It busted right away.
Because I switched and went over and watched.
Did
The
you watch
night
Fox?
of.
Did
The
you watch
night-
Fox News?
The night of.
Oh, great show.
It's our new favorite TV show.
The night of.
Some poor bastard.
Got to
talk
watch
about-
it.
talk about a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's kind of like the Republican National Convention. It's just
The night of.
the night
They
of.
should rename it that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We're all over the place, but you know what? It's a good all over the place. This has been segment 4.
Oh my God. Hey, this weekend, Friday night,
Gotta go.
world famous Comedy Store.